Hey, so here. I had a question from one of my colleagues asking about the scenario that sooner or later, most mortgage brokers, especially on the residential side, will come to face is that they've been helping a client out for a very long time, maybe helping with straightening up their credit score, getting them help with their accounting, their finances, their down payment, all sorts of things for months, maybe a year, or maybe even longer. And the sad reality is that some people do not see the value of all that time you spent with them over the year, right? To help them get where they are today, to qualify for a mortgage. And then now they're being used as pawns in this game against their own bank. And they're going back and forth to get a lower rate, get better deals, maybe get some cash back, et cetera, right? To the point where, the broker is going back to their own lender, the broker channel lender, trying to get better terms, better mortgage from another lender because the current lender maybe couldn't do that. So they are killing themselves literally by affecting their own efficiency ratio with their existing lender. When a deal doesn't get funded too many times, that lender will sooner or later cut them off from accessing that financing, right? So that's not a good thing. Now, the clients don't see this part of that, and they don't want us to understand that you're not getting paid unless a deal closes, until they get the house purchased and the completions with a lawyer, right? So my advice is this: the reason why they're facing this in reality is that they haven't really got it through their mind that the value that they have is not just the one thing that's going to keep the client loyal to them. They need to get the clients on board, bought in emotionally, like, and it is the saying goes that most people make their decision on emotion and backed it up with logic. So they'll always go back to that emotional aspect. They're emotionally tied to the current lender. They haven't let go yet. So at the beginning, I always have the conversation with, who's your current lender? Why do you like them? Why you don't like them? So then I have a better idea of what to put in place so that they can see this other option may be better than the current lender. But if they're so tied with their current lender, I would actually offer that, I'll go and discuss with your current existing lender as well to see if we can get a better offer from them and see what the best that they can present to you up front. And then try to find something else better at that time to compete with, right, your lender. And knowing that if this is the way it is, or they can still stick with the current lender, even if I got a better rate, a better term from a different lender. If the answer is they can stay with that same lender they have always been at for a while, there's no point, right? So cut your loss way at the beginning, back in January. Now it's a December kind of thing, right? Now November, December, you didn't waste much time. But if you've already been pulled along all the way along playing their game and not realizing you're the one who's playing their game, then that's your problem, right? You didn't get that up front. You didn't, most people say, well, I didn't expect it. No, you always expect pushback. You should always expect objection. There's no such thing as a client not having an objection. They will always have an objection. Whether they tell you or not is a different matter, right? And I realized over the past 27, 28 years of doing business in financing is that everybody has an objection. Whether they realize it too or not, even the client might not even realize there is an objection that they haven't told you. Certain circumstances like such as if they're being pushed to buy the house or to buy the business or buy the commercial real estate, whose idea was that? I try to find out. It's probably not them. If it's not their idea, whose is it? It's their aunt, uncle, grandfather, right? Or it could be the parent, right, for that matter. And I bring those people into the conversation. Even though they're not on the deal, they're not an applicant, right? I always bring them to the table because that's the objection that you're not taken care of. I call this the elephant in the room. So the elephant in the room is they've always been with the lender forever, since day one. Since they came to Canada, for example, like my parents were, right? They wouldn't leave Bank of Nova Scotia. Even if some other bank, even if their son worked for CIBC, they wouldn't move their business until I actually had to convince them to move because get them detached emotionally from the existing lender, right? That's what you got to do. You got to be able to win that emotional game with them. Right? So realize what it is up front, deal with it up front rather than later, because you just wasted months you never get back, right? And you're working for free. I know you and I, we're not Mother Teresa, right? We're not Mahatma Gandhi, right? We don't work for free. We need to bring food to the table for our family because that's how our businesses operate based on commission, right? And most clients don't realize that. Don't go out there just saying that the bank pays us. They understood as the bank pays you regardless of whether or not the deal goes through. That's what they're, that's a perception, right? They don't think you think you're a commission broker. You think you're like an employee. No, that's why I never say that anymore. Because with commercial finance, the client pays me. So they realize up front, this is how it works, right? So it's always upfront expectation. What do you expect from me? And what I expect from you as a broker, right? If you don't like that, we should not do business together from day one, all right? So scratch it up as a learning experience, right? From today onward, and put that in place so that the process changes and improves and gets better, and you make way more money, right? Let's stay in this game long enough to learn more and level up. And when you're ready for commercial finance, come see me.